A white book sat on a white table in a white room. The room was round, its walls of whitewashed stone hung with white woolen tapestries. It formed the first floor of the White Sword Tower, a slender structure of 4 stories built into an angle of the castle wall overlooking the bay. The undercroft held arms and armour, the second and third floors the small, spare sleeping cells of the 6 brothers of the King's Guard. One of those cells had been his for 18 years, but this morning he had moved his things to the topmost floor, which was given over entirely to the Lord Commander's apartments. Those rooms were spare as well, though spacious, and they were above the outer walls, which meant he would have a view of the sea. "I will like that," he thought, "the view and all the rest." As pale as the room, Jaime sat by the book in his King's Guard whites, waiting for his sworn brothers. A longsword hung from his hip, from the wrong hip. Before he had always worn his sword on the left, and drawn it across his body when he unsheathed. He had shifted it to his right hip this morning, so as to be able to draw it with his left hand in the same manner, but the weight of it felt strange there, and when he had tried to pull the blade from the scabbard, the whole motion seemed clumsy and unnatural. His clothing fit badly as well. He had donned the winter raiment of the King's Guard, a tunic and breeches of bleached white wool, and a heavy white cloak, but it all seemed to hang loose on him. Jaime had spent his days at his brother's trial, standing well to the back of the hall. Either Tyrion never saw him there, or he did not know him, but that was no surprise. Half the court no longer seemed to know him. "I am a stranger in my own house." His son was dead. His father had disowned him, and his sister, she had not allowed him to be alone with her once, after that first day in the royal sept where Joffrey lay amongst the candles. Even when they bore him across the city to his tomb in the great sept of Baelor, Cersei kept a careful distance. He looked about the round room once more. White wool hangings covered the walls, and there was a white shield and 2 crossed longswords mounted above the hearth. The chair behind the table was old black oak, with cushions of blanched cowhide, the leather worn thin. Worn by the bony ass of Barristan the Bold, and Sir Gerald Hightower before him. By Prince Aemon, the Dragon Knight, Sir Ryman Redwine, and the Demon of Darry, by Sir Duncan the Tall, and the pale griffin Alan Cunnington. How could the Kingslayer belong in such exalted company? Yet here he was. The table itself was old weirwood, pale as bone, carved in the shape of a huge shield supported by 3 white stallions. By tradition, the Lord Commander sat at the top of the shield, and the brothers 3 to a side, on the rare occasions when all 7 were assembled. The book that rested by his elbow was massive, 2 feet tall, and 1.5 feet wide, 1,000 pages thick, fine white vellum bound between covers of bleached white leather with gold hinges and fastenings. The Book of the Brothers was its formal name, but more often it was simply called the White Book. Within the White Book was the history of the King's Guard. Every knight who'd ever served had a page to record his name and deeds for all time. On the top left-hand corner of each page was drawn the shield the man had carried at the time he was chosen, inked in rich colours. Down in the bottom right corner was the shield of the King's Guard, snow white, empty, pure. The upper shields were all different. The lower shields were all the same. In the space between were written the facts of each man's life and service. The heraldic drawings and illuminations were done by septons, sent from the great sept of Baelor 3 times a year, but it was the duty of the Lord Commander to keep the entries up to date. My duty now, once he learned to write with his left hand, that is. The White Book was well behind. The deaths of Sir Mandan Moore and Sir Preston Greenfield needed to be entered, and the brief bloody Kingsguard service of Sandor Clegane as well. New pages must be started for Sir Balon Swan, Sir Osmond Kettleblack, and the Knight of Flowers. I will need to summon a septon to draw their shields. Sir Barristan Selmy had preceded Jaime as Lord Commander. The shield atop his page showed the arms of House Selmy, 3 stalks of wheat, yellow on a brown field. Jaime was amused, though unsurprised, to find that Sir Barristan had taken the time to record his own dismissal before leaving the castle. Sir Barristan of House Selmy, firstborn son of Sir Lionel Selmy of Harvest Hall, served as squire to Sir Manfred Swan, named the Bold in his 10th year when he donned borrowed armour to appear as a mystery knight in the tourney at Blackhaven, where he was defeated and unmasked by Duncan, Prince of Dragonflies. Knighted in his 16th year by King Aegon V Targaryen, after performing great feats of prowess as a mystery knight in the winter tourney at King's Landing, defeating Prince Duncan the Small and Sir Duncan the Tall, Lord Commander of the King's Guard. Slew Melies the Monstrous, last of the Blackfire Pretenders, in single combat during the War of the Ninepenny Kings. Defeated Lormel Longlance and Cedric Storm, the Bastard of Brunsgate. Named to the King's Guard in his 23rd year by Lord Commander Sir Gerald Hightower. Defended the passage against all challengers in the tourney of the Silver Bridge. Victor in the melee at Maidenpool. Brought King Aerys II to safety during the defiance of Duskendale despite an arrow wound in his chest. Avenged the murder of sworn brother Sir Gawain Gaunt. Rescued Lady Jane Swan and her sceptre from the Kingswood Brotherhood, defeating Simon Toyne and the Smiling Knight and slaying the former. In the Old Town tourney, defeated and unmasked the mystery knight Blackshield, revealing him as the Bastard of Uplands. Sole champion of Lord Stephen's tourney at Storm's End, whereat he unhorsed Lord Robert Baratheon, Prince Oberyn Martell, Lord Leighton Hightower, Lord John Connington, Lord Jason Mallister, and Prince Rhaegar Targaryen. Wounded by arrow, spear, and sword at the Battle of the Trident, was fighting beside his sworn brothers and Rhaegar, Prince of Dragonstone. Pardoned and named Lord Commander of the King's Guard by King Robert I Baratheon. Served in the honour guard that brought Lady Cersei of House Lannister to King's Landing to wed King Robert. Led the attack on Oldwick during Balon Greyjoy's rebellion. Champion of the tourney at King's Landing in his 57th year. Dismissed from service by King Joffrey I Baratheon in his 61st year for reasons of advanced age. The earlier part of Sir Barristan's storied career had been entered by Sir Gerald Hightower in a big forceful hand. Selmy's own smaller and more elegant writing took over with the account of his wounding on the Trident. Jaime's own page was scant by comparison. Sir Jaime of House Lannister, firstborn son of Lord Tywin and Lady Joanna of Castley Rock. Served against the Kingswood Brotherhood as squire to Lord Sumner Craighall. Knighted in his 15th year by Sir Arthur Dane of the King's Guard for valour in the field. Chosen for the King's Guard in his 15th year by King Aerys II Targaryen. During the sack of King's Landing slew King Aerys II at the foot of the Iron Throne, thereafter known as the Kingslayer. Pardoned for his crime by King Robert I Baratheon. Served in the honour guard that brought his sister, the Lady Cersei Lannister, to King's Landing to wed King Robert. Champion in the tourney held at King's Landing on the occasion of their wedding. Summed up like that, his life seemed a rather scant and mingy thing. Sir Barristan could have recorded a few of his other tourney victories at least. And Sir Gerald might have written a few more words about the deeds he'd performed when Sir Arthur Dane broke the Kingswood Brotherhood. He had saved Lord Sumner's life, as Big Belly Ben was about to smash his head in, though the outlaw had escaped him. And he held his own against the Smiling Knight, though it was Sir Arthur who slew him. What a fight that was, and what a foe! The Smiling Knight was a madman, cruelty and chivalry all jumbled up together, but he did not know the meaning of fear. And Dane, with dawn in hand. The outlaw's longsword had so many notches by the end that Sir Arthur had stopped to let him fetch a new one. "It's that white sword of yours I want," the robber knight told him as they resumed, though he was bleeding from a dozen wounds by then. "Then you shall have it, sir," the Sword of the Morning replied, and made an end of it. The world was simpler in those days, Jaime thought, and men as well as swords were made of finer steel. Or was it only that he had been 15? They were all in their graves now, the Sword of the Morning and the Smiling Knight, the White Bull and Prince Lewin. Sir Oswald Went with his black humour, Ernest John Darry, Simon Toyne, and his Kingswood Brotherhood, bluff old Sumner Craighall, and me, that boy I was. When did he die, I wonder? When I donned the white cloak? When I opened Ares' throat? That boy had wanted to be Sir Arthur Dane, but someplace along the way he had become the Smiling Knight instead.